This is day 11 with Carolyn once again. How exciting. Yesterday, we should have turned the act, or at least been well on our way to turning the act. Whatever violent, forceful event that catapulted the hero from Act 1 into Act 2 should have at least been started. You may be finishing it up today. You may have already finished it up today and are now squarely in Act 2. And what designates Act 2 from Act 1 is that we are in our new life. Now, many times that is a new world. Neo, Star Wars. Even Sense and Sensibility is a new world. They go from their home in London, I believe, or wherever it is, but they go out to the country to that cottage, which is uncomfortable. Now, sometimes it is an emotional turn. They are still in their old environment, like in Dodgeball, but he now has a new emotional reality, a new emotional world where he has to care, and he isn't too fond of it. Usually the hero is not too fond of it. Now, Luke is a little bit okay with hanging around with a Jedi. That's pretty cool. But then once he gets into his training, he's not too happy about it. So right now is New World. This is definitely, we need to know, don't describe, don't tell me, show me the new world. Show me how different it is, whether it's physically different or emotionally different. Show me this new life. Show me. Now, this is a time, because we just had a fairly large, violent occurrence, an event of really good force and propulsion. And whenever you have a really kind of actiony, eventful scene, you have a little bit of time, and it depends on how big it is, how much time you have. You have a little bit of time to do some character work, to do some softer. So this is the time, if you've been dying to do some character work, this is where we do it. Now, if you didn't write a very explosive turn of the act, you don't have much time, because how explosive, how big, how exciting, how entertaining it was tells you how much time you have after that event. So we may have these 5 pages, we may have 10 pages to do a little bit of character work. And now, don't sit there and have your character look at a daisy and reflect on his life. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about, how does the character feel about the new world? We see the new world through your character's eyes. Hunger Games, Divergent, think of those. Girls forced from their home into a, well, not forced because she thinks it's a false opportunity. Okay, she thinks Dauntless is going to be awesome and fun, and it turns out not to be. But they go from their home environment to a completely new and different environment where they're really challenged and scared most of the time. I could go over these 14 million times, because the vast majority of books and movies are based like this. Harry Potter, etc. Okay, so he wants the opportunity. He wants to go to Hogwarts. He does not understand that he is Harry Potter of legend. He does not understand that Voldemort is after him. He does not understand any of that. So in some ways, invitation to Hogwarts is a false opportunity. And once he gets there, he is really slapped in the face with what this is like. People know who he is, know who Harry Potter is. They're whispering behind their back. That's the new world that is uncomfortable. At the very least, the new world should be emotionally uncomfortable, if not downright dangerous, and that is totally dependent on the genre that you have picked. Also remember, when you're doing softer character work, you still have narrative drive. You still have to keep this puppy moving. And emotional work, you have to be interesting about it. Now, again, I want you to write organically. I don't want you to worry. We will fix all of this in the editing process. I just like to put these bees in your cap, to be thinking about it and be working towards it. Even if you can't do it this book, that's fine. If this is your first book or your third book, unless this is seriously like your 11th book, you should be experimenting and figuring this stuff out, and that's fine. I want you to be human. You are human. I want you to embrace how human you are. And sorry about the dogs. I am here to tell you, you are going to figure it out. I know it may not feel like you're going to figure this out, that you're never going to write well, that everything you write is kind of crud, and it's certainly not, the story in your head is not coming out on the page. We have all felt like that. I still to this day feel like this. Every time I'm near the darkest hour, I'm always like, crap, this is the book that doesn't work. This is the book that I fail at. Oh no. And of course that's inner critic, and I shouldn't be feeling like that. I would not like to feel like that. I do. Also remember that you are just seeing your work, because we're not looking back. I don't want you to look back, because I want it to be super fresh when you go to edit it. So all we're seeing these little tiny stills, little still action figures as we go along. And that is not going to feel very exciting because it stills. And then once you read the book, though, it becomes a movie. It becomes real. It moves. It has rise and fall. It has excitement and then reflection, excitement and reflection. And so all of that feels really good once you read it. Now, you may read it and still may need a lot of work, and that's okay. We may not do a lot of work. If you write a book in this and it's kind of all jacked up and a hot mess, you may just write another book. You may edit a little bit just to get that editing under your belt, but you may decide, you know what, this book is really not the book I thought it was going to be. That's okay. You have to accept the learning curve. You have to accept the fact that you're not going to write as well today as when you have a million words under your belt. You just aren't. Again, the only way, notice I didn't say give up. The only way to get better is to keep writing. That is the universal truth of writing. The only way to write better is to write more. So no matter how upset you may feel or disappointed or all the internal critic voices came true and you didn't write the book of your dreams, you need to go, oh well, so what? That was just one step upon your journey. We are continuing to move through. And some of this, writing a good book is hard, okay? That's the other thing I'm not going to sugarcoat. It is not easy. Writing a book is fairly simple if you follow these things. Writing a good book is much more difficult, and you probably are not going to write a good book today. I hate to tell you. I don't want to discourage you, but you probably aren't. And I want you to be fine with that. Fine. Don't write a great book. Let's just write a book. Because once you write a book, you get better at writing the next book and the next book and the next book. You eventually get to the point where you write a good book, and that is fantastic. You just have to go through these steps. I know it's uncomfortable and everybody wants to jumpstart and go directly from a total beginner, never written a book before, to writing, the great American novel. It's just that doesn't usually happen. If it happens to you, fantastic. I'm so happy for you. But for the vast majority of us, it doesn't. It didn't happen with me. So I just want you to relax. All this is about relaxing. Because writing tension, you have to be relaxed, as strange as that sounds. You can't be worked up about your inner critic and all the crap going on in your head and really put tension on the page. Because really, great storytelling really requires you to be completely immersed in it. And if you're too busy struggling with yourself, you can't be immersed in your world and your story to write it well. So today is certainly the turn of the act should have been completed, or at least completed in these pages. Again, if you were still in your old life, you are turning the act right now. You may not have even had the opportunity yet, but you are turning it now because you need to learn pacing now. Turn the corner. Should have been violent, either emotional or physically. And right now we are in the new world, and this should be really exciting and rich, detailed, but not describing it, not telling. I want you to show. And how you show is to make sure that we are feeling how the character feels about the new world, feels about the room they just walked into the spaceship. How do they feel? That is how we're going to get this across without telling. New life, that's today. Tomorrow we're going to continue the new life, but move it forward and onward to day 12.